Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Fearless Generations with Terry Sayer and Kelly Fox.
Hello and welcome to Fearless Generations, 12 Steps to Freedom. It is Kelly Fox here. I'm excited to be here with you all tonight. Tonight we are wrapping up Step 10, which is trust, which you know I hold dear to my heart. And tonight is our integration night. We are super excited to be continuing and moving along this process of the 12 Steps to Freedom. Terry is not here yet, so I will bring on our guest coach. Super excited to have her on the show. So excited. Please welcome Aneta, and I forgot how to say your last name already.
That's okay. So you could Michalczuk.
Michalczuk.
Yes.
All right. See, mine is easy. It's just Fox. Super easy.
I know. Well, and my husband's last name is Pine. So every time I have to say my name or spell my name, I'm like, why didn't I change it? It could have just been Pine.
You still can. Just saying.
I could.
I actually hyphenated mine at first, and then my signature was just way too long, so I stopped.
That's the beauty of change and choice, right? You can change it anytime.
Yep. So, well, awesome. Well, tell us, what is it that you get to do, and who is it that you get to serve?
So I've been working a lot with moms. So I am a certified Fearless Living life coach, but I've been doing kind of self-help on myself for, everyone does it probably for their entire lives to a degree, but for about 20 plus years. So I studied, I do tapping, I do something called positive intelligence work. So it's just a little bit of everything that I've learned and picked up throughout the years. That's what I bring to the table to help whoever is right in front of me.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, I have dabbled in positive intelligence. I really love that. And I got certified in EFT tapping as well. So we'll have to talk about that and see how you've brought it into your coaching. Because that's something that I've thought about doing. So, all right,
yes.
Well, Terry Ann is here. So let's see how she's doing. How are you doing tonight, Terry?
I'm doing good. Sunday I was talking to Nika and I said, sometimes I'm late to the, and here I was late tonight. Sorry.
You're right on
That's okay,
time.
Terry. Right on time, and twice in one day I get to talk to you, Terry. I'm so fortunate. I love it.
Yeah. Well, let's start things off. Aneta, what does trust mean to you?
That is such a loaded question, Kelly. But you mentioned it a little bit. You mentioned that it's near and dear to your heart. And yep. I'm a massage therapist. So I very much incorporate the mind-body connection into things. So in terms of trust, it's very often almost like a battle between my heart and my mind, that like monkey brain that keeps going, and quieting that enough to go inward and really listen to what is in my heart, and then taking action from there.
I love that. And how do you support the people that you work with trusting themselves? So physically, part of my job as a massage therapist is to calm the nervous system. And as a coach, I teach them to tune into that, but also calm the mind. So very often
I put it in terms of, trigger point therapy, right? Everyone has those aches and pains, and a trigger point is just a pain fiber that's stuck on. And the idea is that when I press into that body, it interrupts that circuit. Client that I'm working with that is just constantly, their brain has pretty much hijacked their entire system, and they don't know where to go. They can't even think clearly enough to make a choice. I try to bring them back, give them tools and techniques to bring them back to the present moment, where they can take that breath, literally stop and take a breath, ask themselves, Eckhart Tolle used to ask, in The Power of Now, he said, ask yourself, am I still breathing? If you ask yourself that, your mind automatically stops and you go inward for a moment and can catch your breath. So that's one of the things I do, is just to help kind of, and again, interrupt that cycle of, in Fearless Living, we talk about that cycle, the cycle of freedom and fear. And so I combine the two often.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I think that trusting yourself is so key. I mean, for me, it's close to my heart because it's my essential nature. And so it's my key into the door, or my key out of the room of fear. I have to trust myself so that I can move through my fear and be courageous and generous and all of those other things that I want to be, compassionate. But it all starts with trust. And so it has been something that I have been practicing for quite a while now. And it's something that I continue to trust. I continue to practice. And in some areas of my life, I'm pretty good with it. In some other areas of my life, I go back and forth. And some areas of my life, I'm not so great. So I continue to practice, continue to take stretches and risks and put myself out there and practice expanding my comfort zone. Where do you feel you are with trusting yourself? Do you feel, is it a daily practice for you, or is it something that comes naturally?
Well, definitely a daily practice, and it does get easier in many areas the more that I practice. But again, it's like trusting the process is in itself a process. So, we're going through a lot of changes in our life right now as a family. And so a lot of it is basically balancing trusting myself and trusting God, and kind of having the two come together, and knowing when my brain is leading me down the wrong path of fear. And so bringing me back in and recentering and reminding myself who I am, whose I am. And again, like you said it beautifully, just unlocking that door outward, but again, going back to just inward, to going back in and saying, okay, let's settle all the noise on the outside and around me. And I have to do that, not just daily, but sometimes, 20 times a day, 30 times a day, depending on the day.
Yeah, moment by moment.
Right.
Yeah. I love that. Terry, how about you?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. A couple of things that I've heard you say that I thought were really thought-provoking. When you're talking about working with your clients and helping them to integrate their mind and their heart, I think you're talking about in the process of healing themselves or accepting the work that you're doing. Is that what, am I reading that right?
Yes. And you're creating the space for them to heal themselves.
Yeah. I that was something I'd like to contemplate a little bit more and think on that, because I like that a lot. And then the idea of trusting the process. I think, trusting the process, it really involves trusting God, trusting yourself, trusting others, and then, trusting the process of our journey, our path, whether we're living in the present moment and we're trusting that process, and we're accepting that our past is what helped us be where we are today, but we're not stuck in our past. We just honor our past, and we're not looking towards the future in terms of making that our focus, but staying focused on the moment and trusting that in the moment we can access that, connection to God and connection to our surrender to the process and trusting ourselves. And I think that kind of saying trusting the process encompasses all of that. It's trusting that we are where we are. We're where we're meant to be. It is what it is. And now, how do we react in that moment to trust our heart, trust our mind, trust our emotions, our spirituality, whatever, so that we can trust ourselves and make those choices without feeling that it has to be a certain way. So we're not tied to some outcome in the future. We're making those decisions, those choices in the present moment, realizing that we may have to change them in the next moment, but being trusting that process of making a decision, then evaluating the decision and maybe tweaking the decision. I mean, every time we make a decision, it's going to be different from the moment we made it before because of what the outcome was from that decision. So I think that when we talk about trusting the process, we really are trusting all of those entities. We're trusting our higher power. That's God. We're trusting others. We're trusting the situation, the environment, what we've learned from the past. So we're trusting our experiences and what we've learned from that. And we're trusting that our journey is what's best for us because that's our trusting the spiritual nature of our existence. So I just, when you said that, trusting the process, that kind of brought up to me, that's the way to encompass all the different aspects of trust.
Yeah.
Someone had said, like,
go ahead.
Someone had said recently to me, it reminded me of this about, it's not, because people sometimes get stuck in that decision, of that process. They kind of put everything on hold. And someone said, don't worry about making the right decision. Trust that you can make the decision right. So once you choose, like you said, you can always reevaluate, go back, count on yourself, look back and see, look at the evidence of the times that you did trust yourself and things worked out and you trusted God and you trusted others. And then it does kind of, your decision can be quote unquote, righted.
Yeah. That idea that everything isn't, everything is flexible, There's certainly when we make a decision, sometimes whatever the consequences of that decision may not be able to be changed, but we can change our reaction and we can change the next time we make the decision based upon that experience. Because there are times we make lousy decisions, and the consequences of those decisions can not only affect us, but affect, other people that we love or people that we are associated with. So it's the idea that, well, that's okay. That's part of life, is that you make decisions and then you reflect upon those decisions and then you make another decision. It's like, things aren't static. There's really a flow and ebb and flow to our journey. In most cases, there are extreme decisions that may affect us in a way that we can't change right away. We might make a decision on something that happens beyond our control, like a health issue that all of a sudden happens, and then we have to make a decision on what to do about that. So the decision is more based upon something outside of our control. But when we're making those daily decisions, those moment-by-moment decisions that we have control over, we can always look at that and tweak that and go in a different direction. I would just think of the Robert Frost poem, where you come to the fork in the road. And, if we go down the wrong fork, we can turn back and go back down the other fork, in most cases. Right. I mean, generally, there are certainly situations in our life that have more of an impact. But just in general, when we're making those moment-to-moment decisions, there's an opportunity to be flexible. And we can always change based upon what we learn from that decision.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that it is. It's a building process. You know, every time you step out and take a risk, it builds on the time before, and you know, it keeps building and building and building, and your comfort zone keeps expanding. Your ability to trust yourself grows. Your ability to trust others and all the other things that we've talked about grows, and you're able to take bigger risks because you trust yourself more, and so on and so on and so on. And it's a matter of putting one foot in front of the other, doing one small thing after another. It doesn't have to be a big risk. It doesn't have to be super scary. It's just one baby step, you know, in front of another, and it all adds up. And you look back and you're like, whoa, look at how much I've changed, or look how much closer I am to my goal, or wow, I'm pretty impressed with myself. So,
right.
You know,
right.
For me right now, there's a lot of unknown with our family too, and so, you know, I've been asked to trust big time, and it's something that I've definitely been practicing, and you know, still trying to do what I can, right? So I still feel like I have, you know, some control over the situation, but really I have none. But, you know, but practicing trusting that regardless of what happens, regardless of what job, you know, we get, wherever it is, whenever we move, it's all going to be okay. And it's all going to be where we're supposed to be, and it's all going to work out. And, you know, everything is for my good, and trusting that I'm capable. I'm capable to keep us all moving and shaking, and that it's all going to work out.
Yeah. I think about, talking about that reminds me of like during the lockdowns. Remember when everyone was inside and suddenly the world's problems seemed to just get better? Like all of a sudden the air was cleaner, the animals were out again. It's like all these places that had these issues, the earth just started healing itself pretty much when we took that human brain out of the equation. And I sometimes remind myself of that, like, okay, stop projecting, stop worrying about what's going to happen in 5 years, 10 years, a month even. Like, right, Louise Hay always said, that, like, all is well in my world. Again, bringing it back to the moment, and like, now in this moment, I'm breathing. The process of life is continuing for me. I don't even have to do anything. I'm breathing, right? And so trusting that my body is already sustaining my life. Oh, that's really awesome. I don't even have to do anything. That's a gift in itself. Okay, I can take a breath now. Let's focus on now, like you said, Kelly, one step at a time. Keep moving forward, and things will fall into place. It won't always be easy, right? But it will happen.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best advice we can ever give anybody when it comes to being able to stay on the path and have faith and trust. And I think faith and trust are kind of almost synonyms, just to really live in the moment, be grateful. It also, the mantra of gratitude is really helpful as you're going through this process of trusting as well. Even being in the middle of chaos, being able to be grateful that you, in this moment, you can breathe, you can see, you can walk, you can feel, your heart's beating. Just that in and of itself helps you to stay present. Yes.
And you know what? And I'm going to say something, and this is crazy because I am not a country music fan at all. Like, I loathe country music. But for some reason, Garth Brooks' song "Unanswered Prayers" is coming into my head right now, and so and I don't know if you're familiar.
Garth Brooks transcends one music genre.
Okay. Take it easy there, Kelly. Yeah. Okay. So we'll say it's coming up. So maybe a listener needs to hear or be reminded of that song, Unanswered Prayers, where, he realizes that trusting, there are times where we've probably gone through a heartache, a hardship, where we're just like, oh, I don't know what this is for. And then being reminded that, you know what, thank God XYZ didn't come true when I was praying for it so hard, because now this opened up the world for, DEF to happen. And oh my gosh, thank you, Lord, for that. That's that gratitude that you're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, I trust my higher power. I trust the intuition and the inspiration that I get from my daily prayer and study, and focus on, living my life a certain way. But I don't always take action on it, and that to me is what I practice when I think about trusting. And I'll get an intuitive hit of something, and I trust it to be true, but then I don't always take action on it. And I think sometimes that, that's a component of trust as well, is to follow through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I walk every morning. I mean, I've finally gotten back since I was sick. I've gotten back to walking every morning, and I do kind of meditate while I'm walking, and I just have a conversation with God while I'm walking, and I'll get these really, powerful impressions of this is what I could do, and this is something I could do that would, help me to move forward. And if I don't write it down, I can forget it. So I have to keep it in my mind and say it over and over while I'm walking, so that when I walk in the house, I can write it down. I have a friend that carries paper with her when she's on her walk. And when she gets those ideas, she just writes them down right then. And I think that might be a good idea for me too. Just to carry a little piece of paper with me in my pocket, and when I get those ideas, to write them down. Because I had a really strong impression today to do something when I was walking, and I just did it now because I just remembered it right. That's what I was doing when I was late, taking care of that. Because it finally came back to me. I need to do that. So it was a strong impression today. So I did. And anyway, I think that there's a trusting, and then there's acting on that, acting on trusting yourself. If you're going to trust yourself, then you're going to take action, right? If you trust the process, you're going to take action. If you trust God, you're going to take action on those impressions that you get. So I think that's another component of trust.
Yes. And I think with that, discernment too, right? Discernment, because there is a time to take action. And I mean, one of the mantras that my family has been really relying on is 41, like the number 41. And its symbolism in the Bible, and how it's 41 is often associated with that period of trial and testing or probation, and often it represents a season of preparation until the breakthrough comes, right? So that's trusting that there will be a breakthrough at some point, but like you said, just one step at a time until that happens. And in the meantime, appreciate that growth and learning and spiritual development.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's not to take action; the action is to wait. That's the action, or to be patient, or to, the action is acceptance and surrender, and knowing it will happen. That's the action. It's not always doing something. That is doing something, but it's not like you're jumping off of a jumping off of a cliff, trusting not to hit the bottom, whatever. It's just, it's it doesn't have to be this overt action. It's more of a internal pause. We've talked a lot about pausing, and that's an action.
Yep. So it's breathing.
Yeah, taking a breath.
Yeah. Well, ladies, we are almost done, believe it or not. So I want to give Aneta some time to share with the audience how they can get a hold of her, and if you have anything going on that you would like to invite them to.
I do. I have some things coming up, but my husband and I have actually started doing some speaking around his experience and my experience with the family's experience within that. He had an interesting experience with Jesus, actually. So we've been speaking at some churches, and so you can contact us both, actually, at the letter J, D-O-T, so J dot at, and then this is God Said Lives, but it's spelled Godsedliv. So there's
Terry.
A little story behind that
Aneta.
spelling that we talk about. But so J dot.
Hopefully she will come back and she'll be able to finish telling us about what her and her husband are doing.
And .com,
because
that's one way.
I'm sure it is something that would support some of you.
Also do have an email, but I rarely check it. So I just actually prefer texting. So 773-551-5577.
I love the fact that they're going out and they're sharing that, their experience and how they how they were able to move through them and come out the other side. So,
did I lose
not sure what's going on and what. Hello.
Hi. I think did I lose you guys?
Hello. I thought I heard her for a second. Well, hopefully she'll be able to go into the Facebook group, Get Fearless at Any Age with Fearless Generations, and post that information there. So definitely go check out the Facebook group and look for
I enjoyed being on the show, so thank you for
post
having
the
me.
information there for you of how you can reach out to her or to learn more about the speaking that they are doing. And how you can learn more about that. So we just want to remind you all, like always, that the 12 Steps to Freedom were created by Rhonda Britton, the CEO and founder of the Fearless Living Institute. And if you would like to know more about Fearless Living, please come check it out at fearlessliving.org. You can find out everything about Fearless Generations at fearlessgenerations.org. You can find out about our free workshop every month on the fourth Saturday. You can figure out, you can see our monthly membership that we have going on called Staying Fearless, our year-long group program, Stepping Towards Freedom. Do you see that there is a theme here? And we're super excited about our upcoming retreat, Pathway of Change, which goes over these 12 steps to freedom. And it's going to be amazing. So we're super excited about that. It's coming up September 5th through the 8th here in California. And you can find out all about that on the website, or you can always reach out and talk to us on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. We are on all of those as Fearless Generations. So do reach out and let us know if you would like more information on any of what we've got going on, and continue listening to the podcast. Next month, we will be on step 11, which is passion, and we're super excited to bring all the new coaches on. Some are familiar, some you've never heard from, so it's going to be a great month talking about passion, and please come back and be here with us. So everyone have a great night, and until next time, be fearless.